In this slide, I try to present a project's roadmap. You need to think about what has motivated you to research the area you chose. The research question: find out what others have written. Hence, thinking and planning your literature review strategy. Keep a record of your searches. Reflect on what you have found in your searches and readings. Hence, consider whether others have searched and written about what you are going to do. Consider whether you will be able to get hold of the information you need. Consider also whether there will be ethical problems in obtaining the information you will require. Refine your research question or questions if needs be. Hence, reflect on whether the questions in the context of the literature you read are too broad or too difficult. Every research has two important stages, which I am referring to as pre-empirical stage. In other words, before you start collecting your data. At this stage, you will need to choose the research area question, analyze the problem that you may have observed, and formulate your research question or questions. The stage that follows, I refer to it as empirical stage. Here you will select your design, collect your data, analyze it, and finally produce an answer. The project's roadmap that I presented before is based on the scientific method. Identifying a problem. A problem can arise in the framework of a theory, not in a vacuum. The researcher sets up a hypothesis, so he usually forms a general theory. The researcher needs to identify variables. Remember, a variable is an attribute, that is, a value or category that varies when we measure it. There's a difference between a variable and an attribute. For example, male is not a variable. The word male describes a category of gender. Hence, it is an attribute of the variable gender. On the other hand, married is not a variable. It is an attribute of the variable marital status. Number of years married is a variable. Examples of variables can be person's height, weight, and age, or marital status, under which fall the following attributes: married, separated, divorced, single, widowed, etc. The fourth stage, you need to operationalize the variables. In other words, you need to define the variables into measurable factors Hence, set down the exact definition of each variables. It determines how the researcher is going to measure an emotion or concept, such as the level of distress or aggression. Stating how you will define and measure a specific variable as it is used in your study, meaning stating the who and the how. This will allow others to replicate your study and carry out statistical analysis of the result. That means making reliability robust. What do I mean by going to the field to collect your data? Do not associate data only with numbers. In social research, data means any source of raw information. That is, that no one has worked on it. So it may indeed be numbers. That is, test scores. It may be the transcript of an interview, questionnaire, documents, photographs. A point of advice. Remember, data is a plural noun, so when using it, use the plural form. These data show. Consider the techniques and tools that you will use. Interviews, diaries rely mainly on using words. Questionnaires, observations rely on numbers or words. Analyzing your findings. This means coding, sorting, and categories. Also, developing theory and discussing your findings. Finally, drawing conclusions implies synthesizing your findings and reconciling your finding with those of others. It would be worthwhile sometimes to revisit your abstract.